For the purpose of compiling this list, we'll be concentrating on young people who have chosen a life of crime and have consequently crossed at least one moral threshold. Our first concern is with persons who have not yet reached the age of 18. Yes, as shocking as it may sound, there are quite a few instances of adolescents and teenagers choosing a road that leads to trouble. The Menendez brothers were just 21 and 18 years old when their parents were murdered. Therefore, you won't find them here. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, we'll be looking at the most evil children killers. Yeah, you heard it right. So, let's start our video. Number 6. Willie Bosket. There are those people for whom it simply does not appear that there are any options other than criminal activity. Willie Bosket, a native of Harlem, appeared to be of the opinion that this was the case. He believed that, just like his father, he would one day turn out to be a killer. The young man, who was just 15 at the time, was responsible for the shooting deaths of 3 individuals in March 1978, including a worker for the New York Transit. Bosket entered a guilty plea, although his term was reduced to just 5 years in a juvenile detention center. Later on, he was found guilty of assault, arson, and an attempt to flee from a correctional facility, which resulted in him receiving a sentence of 82 years to life in prison. Number 5. Josh Phillips. Is it accurate to say that this was a mistake on judgment? A young girl by the name of Maddie Clifton vanished in the month of November in the year 1998 in the city of Jacksonville, Florida. 1 week after Maddie went missing, her body was discovered in the waterbed of Josh Phillips, who had battered and stabbed her to death. Josh was only 14 years old at the time of this incident. Phillips has stated that he is sorry for what happened, but given that he's serving a life term for first-degree murder, there's no possibility of parole. It seems unlikely that he'll be released from jail anytime soon. Number 4. Edmund Kemper. It's possible to hide some of your less admirable traits if you give off the impression that you're doing okay. For example, young Edmund was able to persuade psychologists at the Atascadero State Hospital that he was in good mental health, despite the fact that he had killed his grandparents as a result of an argument when he was only 15 years old. It is unfortunate that he was able to commit the murders of 6 female college students, his mother and his mother's friend, just 3 years after he was freed up from prison in 1969, after having avoided serving a sentence of more than 5 years in prison. He had been released. It should go without saying that one shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Number 3. Graham Young. T all of a sudden appears to have a lot less appeal to me now. Meet Graham Young, a Londoner who was born and raised in the neighborhood of Neasden and who ever since he was a boy has been interested in the effects of poison. In 1962, Young was arrested after confessing to an effort to kill his family, an act which included offering his own sister, tea, laced with deadly nightshade. This act was one of the factors that led to Young's imprisonment. The young man was committed to the mental health facility, Broadmoor Hospital, for 9 years before being freed. After his release, he used his position as a quartermaster to poison nearly 70 people with tea, earning him the nickname the Teacup Poisoner. Fitting, but unnerving. Number 2. Brian and David Freeman. Even in the face of a criminal probe, siblings will stand by one another's sides. Brian and David Freeman, the eldest children in the Freeman family, were both ardent members of the neo-Nazi movement and hated the fact that they were raised in a rigorous Jehovah's Witness environment. Both brothers were arrested for the murder of their parents and younger brother Eric in February of 1995, which brought to a head the violent relationship that had developed between the two and their family as a direct result of their actions. Brian, David, and their associate and cousin Ben Birdwell plotted together to evade the death penalty by pleading guilty and getting a lesser sentence. They got what they wanted, but at the cost of receiving life terms for their crimes. Number 1. Brenda Spencer. Not liking Mondays doesn't seem like a valid justification for murder. On the other hand, this is purportedly the justification that the 16-year-old Brenda Ann Spencer offered for carrying out a shooting at a school. On the 29th of January 1979, Miss Spencer opened fire at Cleveland Elementary School, firing 30 rounds of ammunition. As a result of the shooting, the school's principal and a janitor were killed, and 8 students, along with a police officer, were injured. After turning herself into the police, Brenda entered a guilty plea to 2 charges of murder and 1 count of assault with a weapon, which resulted in a sentence ranging from 25 years to life in prison for her. And that's all for today's video. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section down below. I hope that you found this video interesting, and if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. See you in the following video with some more of the latest updates, and until then, stay tuned.